Dr. Dreisbach, of the Founding Fathers, how many viewed their work of establishing government from a biblical worldview?
Well, that's a hard question, and it raises a lot of other questions, such as who do we really mean by the Founding Fathers? That's a question that historians debate. Are we talking about the signers of the Declaration, the signers of the Constitution? Are we talking about both? Or are we talking about something much more broad than that? Are we talking about the people involved in ratification conventions at the state level, those kinds of things? I tend to define Founding Fathers in rather broad terms to include a whole generation or two of Americans who are very much involved in articulating the rights of Americans as Englishmen and failing to persuade the English of their rights, then working to secure their independence from Great Britain, and finally being involved in reestablishing new commonwealths, new polities, after having separated themselves from Great Britain. So this is a rather broad company of individuals. So to answer a question like that, you need to know who are the Founding Fathers? What do we mean by the Founding Fathers? Clearly, many come out of a Christian background, who reflect Christian ethics in their view of the world. But there are also a few who are very much influenced by European rationalist thinking, by natural religion thought and the like. So there's a bit of a mixed match. But I would say most come out of a more conventional religious, specifically Christian background.
Does one historical figure come to mind when we would say he had an adamant worldview, almost ignoring any other influence?
There were certainly Founding Fathers who are very devout and pious Christians who want to reflect that piety in all their actions, including their involvement in politics. I would identify people like John Jay, for example, first Chief Justice of the United States and one of the co-authors of the Federalist Papers. I would also include perhaps Samuel Adams, Elias Boudinot, a president of the Continental Congress, Oliver Ellsworth, Roger Sherman, two men who come out of the state of Connecticut. Roger Sherman is very much involved in the founding of the American Republic. He was one of only two men to sign three organic expressions of American law: the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the United States Constitution. Sherman was involved, a member of the First Congress, involved in framing the First Amendment. Someone else that I would include would probably be someone like John Witherspoon, leader of the Presbyterian community in the United States, also very involved in politics. He sat on over 100 committees in the Continental Congress, president of what was then called the College of New Jersey, today known as Princeton, a very devout man who brought his faith with him into the public realm.
Did Thomas Jefferson intend for any reference to religion to be excluded from all public discourse when he used the metaphor, the wall of separation?
Well, I think the wall of separation metaphor is used today in ways that Jefferson probably wouldn't recognize and might even repudiate. Simply looking at his record as a public official, I think we would have to conclude that Jefferson did not mean and did not intend to exclude all references to religion and even references to God from public life. Jefferson himself, in numerous public statements, made references to God. And you might want to look at what today we would call the State of the Union address. In his annual messages to Congress, he would frequently make references to God and our need to be thankful to God. Now, I'm not sure that I wouldn't suggest that Jefferson was an Orthodox Christian necessarily, but I don't think he intended to exclude religion and religious expression from all aspects of public life.
In your opinion, what are the dangers of a Bible illiterate society?
Well, I think that to the extent that many of our expressions, many of our idioms, our manners of communicating with each other are based on ideas, concepts, allusions to the Bible, I think it hinders our ability to communicate to each other. So if you take a common expression like Lion's Den or Damascus Road Experience or handwriting on the wall or forbidden fruit, the kinds of expression that work their way into our popular discourse, if you lack or lose knowledge of where these phrases come from, it really, I think, hinders our ability to communicate to each other. So to that extent, I think it's useful, valuable to be literate in the Bible and how the Bible has informed our culture and our manner of expression and speaking to one another.